Alright, 10 flights in on the Durafly MkV Spitfire, and I think it's fair enough to go ahead and talk about some impressions from having flown it, what little I have so far. Very thankful for the way that the gear works on this thing with the grub screw right here by the tail section. Makes it so easy to make adjustments at the flight line, so the plane is trimmed for air, and then when you land it you can make the adjustment to the tail wheel so you're still tracking straight when you're taxiing. So that worked out beautifully. As did the decals. It's my first time doing decals like this, and the instructions in the manual made it really simple. Just don't do what I did in a couple places like this. Make sure you peel that fronting straight back, but what I would recommend doing is putting the iron down while the fronting's still on, just to make sure that these things come off even simpler. You don't want the decals coming off with the fronting, and I had that happen just a couple of times. I did nose this thing over a few times, and that's how I got this little blemish right here. And I scuffed up my props just a little bit, but now I've got a handle on it. My last 6 or 7 landings were about flawless, so I got a handle on it now. The narrow gear is exactly that, so make sure you've got a handle on your landings, because you're going to need every bit of skill you got to keep from scuffing up the wingtips like I did just a little bit. So not too shabby. For 10 flights in and figuring out how to land this thing, I gotta say I'm really pleased with it. And how about these retracts? Durafly, you guys did an amazing job at the scale accuracy. I think I may have bent one of these retracts, actually. Let me set this thing on the stand. From a not so perfect landing. It's still working fine, but it's just off center, and I'm not saying that it came from the factory that way. I definitely did that. I just think I may have bent that strut just the slightest bit. Not that one. That one's still doing fine. I did have to tighten up the struts, though. I took the retracts apart here at the field, and, well, not entirely apart, just enough to strengthen the grub screw on the strut. But now that that's done, it's looking great. And these lights, even in daylight, you can get the benefit of these lights. Really helps make this thing look as amazing as it is when it's in the air. And I forgot to put my retracts back down. Alright, there we go. But there is none more scale than park-size Spitfires. This thing is amazing on the ground and in the air. Really, really pleased with it. I found that I had to put my 2200 4S 60C back from the motor just a bit, because everything I read and saw said that it needed to be all the way forward, but when I took off for the first time it was quite nose heavy, so I had to move it back a bit. Oh, yep, 10 flights so far. So until next weekend, just be looking at this thing, and I am not complaining. That's one really, really good looking Spitfire.